Alright, what's going on, guys? I'm doing a different kind of video here to mainly bring awareness to a certain individual. And this person I never really talked about on this channel because, you know, what they were doing, you know, like the things that they were most noted for anyway, were like a decade ago, and, you know, I didn't really get around to making videos on it really much then because, you know, I couldn't really think of much to say that hadn't already been said. That, and, you know, I just didn't get around to doing it. But I'm finally gonna do a video on this because there's some things that have come up about this person recently that are a bit concerning, to say the least. And this particular person's name is Amos Yee. Now, around, I think it was like 10 or 11 years ago, or however long it was ago now, he actually used to be sort of, I guess you could call him a troll, but he would do things like, you know, he would call out certain politicians in his home country and everything, and, you know, hurting religious feelings is why he actually got arrested the first time. He's been arrested multiple times, but the first time he was arrested and put in jail, it was because he had, you know, insulted religion basically in his home country, which, you know, I guess that was a no-no in his home country, and he got in trouble for that, which, of course, is something I heavily disagree with. I don't think he should have been put in prison for that during the time, you know. Regardless of, you know, what I think of him now, I have a lot different of a view of him now than back then, considering, you know, some of the other things he said, which I'll get into in a second, because, you know, it's pretty bad to say the least. But he was originally arrested for that, and, you know, there's been twice he's actually been arrested now. The other one was actually a lot more serious than that. You know, the first time wasn't even really serious at all, and it wasn't even really something I think he should have been put in prison for. But later on, he started making just these really, really concerning videos promoting pred behavior. You know, of course, you know, I'm not going to say the whole word because of YouTube's BS with the censorship and whatnot, but you all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, you know, promoting things like CP and, you know, pred behavior and stuff like that, saying that it's okay to do those things and that it should be legal and all this stuff. Just completely off the wall, disgusting things that are just very, very concerning, to say the least, and should be looked at as what the hell is wrong with you by anyone with a clear and sound mind. Because, you know, he basically went from, oh yeah, organized religion is BS, you know, which, whatever, he can think what he wants of it, like, that's cool, like, I don't think that should be something that should be censored or anything like that, or, you know, like I said, think what you want of that, but I don't think something like that should necessarily be something that should be taken down and censored and everything, I don't think. But he went from that to promoting pred behavior, which, of course, he got his YouTube channel shut down after posting all those videos and everything, and I don't even know if you could still find them, but there's all sorts of clips out there of these videos where he's saying stuff like, oh yeah, pred behavior is alright and everything, and of course then he got kicked out of his apartment or shelter or whatever he was staying at during the time. And, you know, started saying, oh yeah, donate to Amos Yee, you know, let me stay with someone, I want to stay with them rent-free, basically, even though I'm promoting things like pred behavior and all this other creepy stuff, this creepy nonce stuff, basically, which almost, like, fucking nobody is gonna want to take somebody like that, and obviously, like, probably like 99.99999% of people are going to be like, yeah, fuck this dude, I'm not going to let him stay with me, you know, and I feel bad for whoever he stays with, considering, you know, the things he advocates for, to his narcissistic personality to go along with it, of course, and just him as a person overall. I can't imagine almost anybody, other than maybe fellow preds themselves, that would want to take this guy in to their place of living and be like, yeah, you can live with me and everything else. Like, I can only imagine someone who's like that themselves would let someone like that stay with them, knowing what type of person he is and what he advocates for and everything. And after promoting all these disgusting things and saying, you know, oh yeah, I don't know if he actually said this, but I think he was one of these people to be like, oh yeah, I advocate for pred behavior, but I'm not one myself. I could be wrong. But he was eventually arrested and charged with the G word of someone who was not an adult, let's just say, because YouTube censors basically fucking everything now. And after this, he was sentenced to 7 years behind bars and is an RSO after this. I can't remember how long he is on the RSO, but it's got to be at least for a long time, and I believe he does have some parole conditions too. And after this, the little moron posts a video on YouTube saying, oh, well, go to my site and everything and, you know, support me there and all this stuff, which my reaction was like, dude, you are a complete moron to be doing this, because you probably shouldn't even be doing this because of your parole conditions. Like, did you not, like, hear the judge? I mean, I can't imagine they just let this dude out of prison and we're like, yeah, you can go online and do whatever you want, you know, you can use the internet all willy-nilly whenever you please, you can post videos, you can, you know, make your own site and everything, you can do all that. I can't imagine a judge doing that after this guy's prison sentence and what he got charged with, you know. I can't imagine any judge would be like, yeah, you know, after you get out, you can just go and do whatever you want. I can't imagine any judge with an actual, like, sound mind coming to that sort of conclusion on the verdict, you know. Which I believe he actually got let go early. I can't remember exactly. You know, my memory's a little off, but I believe he got let go a little early, and then started accessing the internet again after this like a complete imbecile, and then gets put back in, and now he's back out again, and he's using the internet again, which he probably shouldn't be doing because of his parole conditions, but he's gonna do it anyway because, you know, he's just a complete imbecile narcissist who just thinks, oh, well, I'm just going to do whatever I want whenever I want to do it, you know, and there will be no consequences. I can hurt anybody I want. I can do anything I want, you know, to anybody I want. You know, I can violate my parole conditions, you know. I don't care. That's basically his whole thing is, I'm going to do what I want and I don't care about the consequences, you know, considering the dude got let out of prison before, I believe, and then went on the internet again, like I said, and then got put back in. Now he's out again, back online with the same BS of promoting the same crap that he promoted before on his website and everything, and goes on YouTube and everything being like, oh, go to my site. Dude, your site is gonna be blown into oblivion. Get the fuck out of here. Your site will be blown into oblivion. It will be DDoSed into internet hell, and I think everybody knows that at this point. I mean, it's like EDP when he tried to launch his own website. Like, dude, nobody's going to your website, and the only people that are really are people that are going there to, like, make fun of it or DDoS it or something. Other than that, nobody's gonna go to your site. Literally no one. But the fact that this guy is back online should be concerning to anybody out there, especially to those with young ones, with sons and daughters and everything that, you know, are young ones. This should be concerning to anyone with those people in their lives and everything, you know. Because some young ones may come across this guy not knowing his past, not knowing about, you know, his prison sentencing, the fact that he's an RSO, literally, and is out of prison accessing the internet, which he probably shouldn't be doing. You know, there might be some young ones out there that just come across him and not know about his history or anything like that, not knowing that he's an RSO, and will get victimized by this guy. And there might be more victims of this guy, unfortunately, now that he's out on the internet doing this stuff. And it probably isn't going to last for long, I'll be honest. This guy is just completely out of control and completely unhinged, and he's probably not going to last long out in the free world. He's probably going to be put behind bars again within the next few months. He's going to slip up again. He's going to do something to where he gets himself put behind bars again, and let's hope there isn't, you know, a young victim involved, but there very well might be, considering how unhinged this guy is, unfortunately. I hate to say it, but there's a good chance that it will happen. Either that, or this guy will get caught by some sting operation or something like that. He gets caught by, you know, somebody like Skeeter Jean or Gideon or something, which I'm actually kind of hoping happens, I'll be honest. I would love to see this guy get caught by them and arrested and put behind bars again. I would love to see it. Or just him get caught up in any sting operation in general. I would love to see that happen, where this guy gets put behind bars for the rest of his life where he belongs. But this video is meant to be mostly an awareness video of those who may not know about this guy and just happen to come across him somehow, especially the young ones out there. Watch out for this guy and just steer clear of him entirely, you know. And if you have a young one who happens to come across this guy, do whatever you can to cut that connection entirely, because this guy is dangerous and should not be out there in the open and out in the free world at all. I don't think. I think this guy should be put behind bars for the rest of his life, where he belongs, because he's just too unhinged and too out of control to be let out into the free world. And I do encourage any reporting of any further illegal behavior that this guy commits. I fully support it. If you see this guy going after young ones, report it. Just report it and, you know, get this guy put behind bars again if you happen to see it, because that's where this guy needs to be. It's where he belongs, because he's just too narcissistic to learn. He will never learn. This guy has already, you know, been in and out of the slammer like at least 2 different times for this behavior, and it's probably not gonna stop, to be quite honest. The guy hasn't learned anything, clearly, and if he did learn anything, then he wouldn't even be on the internet at all, period. He wouldn't be online, probably violating his parole conditions. He would just disappear entirely and just be gone from the internet forever and just go into exile somewhere and just fuck off entirely, if he actually learned anything from his sentencing before. So that's pretty much all I got for this video. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this whole thing, and even though it's some unfortunate news, I know, I felt the need to make this video to create some awareness to people who may not know about this guy. So that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.